Those Siloti speaking mental slaves that behave as surrogates to the Bengali speaking anti Siloti morons are not representative of the ordinary Siloti mentality and Siloti tradition. It is 49 years since the 2nd of December 1973 when the Sunday Times launched the attack on the Silotis. How old are the mental slave shits that are running the Bengali language fucking news programs at the expense of the Silotis? You fucking morons. How old are you? You shits. Where do you come from? Where in Silot are your ancestors, you shits? Silot is blessed by the presence of the Saint Shahjalal and his followers. They arrived in Sylhet with the message of truth, honesty, ethics, morality, compassion, courage, and tolerance. For 700 years, the saints have blessed Sylhet. And for 700 years, the descendants of Shaitan, the remnants of Shaitan, have been benefiting from Silot by pretending to be Silotis, but actually serving the agenda of the anti-Silotis, all the liars and shaitans. The things that have created what is now Bangladesh are very clearly identifiable. The blessings of the saints, Hazrat Shahjalal and his followers, and the Saint Bayezid Bustami in Chittagong, and similar saints. The thieves, the louts, the crooks, the envious and the poisonous kafirs do not represent Silot, have never represented Silot, cannot represent Silot. One of the satanic rituals that the misnamed Abdul Salik performed while he was abusing somebody else's property in Hanbury Street was to invite the Abdul Kuffar Chowdhury. And Abdul Kuffar Chowdhury spewed a pack of lies about his achievements in 1971. Shaitan Chowdhury did not achieve anything. He is a parasite. And the Shaitan Abdul Salik outraged morality and ethics by inviting people into 108 Brick Lane from the streets. People are walking in the streets, and he would go out and invite people to come in there. And then he would tell lies about other people. And then he would tell lies about other people. And then he would tell lies about people that he had lied to about other people. This shaitan would invite Shaitan Abdul Kuffar Chowdhury. Abdul Salik never invited or hosted or organized a single event, one single event, to mark any anniversary or to mark any event connected with the Saint Shahjalal Muzarrad Yamani or any of the other people that have been blessing Silot for hundreds of years. Shaitan Abdul Salik audaciously insulted the God-fearing members of the community on the first day of Ramadan by holding a satanic event at his restaurant. The Shaitan Abdul Salik was eventually caught by the person that he stole from for many, many years through a court of law. And the Central London County Court actually convicted Abdul Salik of huge debts owed to the man whose property Abdul Salik had expropriated, exploited, and abused for more than 2 decades. These are not people that actually represent or can ever represent the spirit, the character, the ideals, and the ideology of Silot. So whoever the evil one, Leslie Garner, spoke to or was approached by must have been a shaitan. Because far from Silot being the most backward part of a disunited country, whatever country she was talking about, after the arrival of the Saint Shahjalal and his followers, whatever Sylhet was like before began to be transformed into a spiritual place where people began to believe in God. And to this day, countless people of Sylhet remember with prayers the saint and his followers. And in Silot, there are shrines, there are mazars of the saints that are revered by local people in every area with pure sense of prayer. In the vicinity of where I was born and raised, in the east of the river Khoodeelaar, there are two mazars. One is Khoodeelaar and the other one is not named. I'll have to do the necessary research into the name of this particular follower of the Saint Shah Jalal. This one is in Dotorail and the other one is in Khoodeelaar is in Naliuri in Badashur. These are places from where constant prayers are emanating, benefiting the whole community. These are 700 years, hundreds of years old. The Saint Shah Jalal came in sometime in the 14th century, the beginning of the 14th century, 1307 or 1308, or that is something again I have to check. And Sylhet has remained blessed for 700 years. There is nothing comparable, nothing similar to be found anywhere else in Bangladesh. Hazrat Bayezid Bustami blessed the area, but his number of followers, as I think at this moment, are less than Hazrat Shah Jalal's followers. But despite the numerical difference between the two saints, they're both saints and they're both revered. And both are sources of spiritual solace to the believers. Hazrat Shah Jalal never did anyone any physical harm. The entire message, the entire mission of him and his followers was a mission of peace and humanity and support and respect. Those qualities are beyond the reach of shaitans. When Abdul Salik made an application to the Greater London Council for a grant as an artist, Dishari Shilpi Gushti, he didn't genuinely make the application himself. He got somebody else to make the application. And when the GLC gave the money, that money wasn't used. That money wasn't used for the Dishari Shilpi Gushti artistic purposes. A lot of that money went into the restaurant. Let anyone deny this. I had a physical fight with the chair of the GLC Arts Committee at the time, Peter the racist cunt, Pitts. Let the fucking cunt, Peter Pitts, deny it. I told him that the money was not being used for the purposes for which it was supposedly granted. Abdul Salik abused the name of the Bangladeshi community and abused the ordinary sense of expectation against racism. that existed in the immediate aftermath of the racist murder of Al-Tabali in 1978. Abdul Salik never, ever took part in a genuinely spontaneous anti-racist action. So when we started the campaign against Monica Ali, second round in 2006 and 7, Abdul Salik lied. Abdul Salik lied and said, on the record, it is on the record, that he would burn Monica Ali's book. Why would he burn Monica Ali's book? The answer he gave was to get attention, mention in the media as an extremist statement. He intentionally made a knowingly extremist statement in order to get his name in the news. He had no substance. Abdul Salik had no substance to anything he said against Monica Ali, because his concern was not about defending the community's reputation against anything Monica Ali had written. His sole purpose was to get himself mentioned. I wrote the original analytical statement against Monica Ali. And Abdul Salik lied to the Guardian and others whom he phoned and said this was written by him. Abdul Salik could never write one paragraph, let alone a longer one. He could not write a paragraph that could ever compare to anything that I write. And he lied. And he lied and he claimed that what I had written was his writing. That is why I boycotted any meetings, anything to do with Abdul Salik talking about Monica Ali, when I found out that he was lying. Abdul Salik said he would burn Monica Ali's book in order to get himself mentioned as an extremist in the media. He didn't mind whether he was called an extremist, a terrorist, or whatever. All he wanted was a satanic purpose to get himself mentioned. How was he better than Monica Ali? Abdul Salik then decorated the entire front of the 108 Brick Lane address with newspapers that had news items about Brick Lane protests against Monica Ali's book. All he wanted to do was to show that he was the one that was mentioned. But he forgot. Perhaps he misunderstood, because the Guardian actually ridiculed him. The Guardian piece actually mocked Abdul Salik as a thug and ridiculed him as a thug in print. I stayed away from that little gathering of 20 people or so that Abdul Salik had organized in order to get himself mentioned. The Guardian mentioned him as a thug in effect. Let's see if we can find the Guardian piece. On the 27th of July 2006, The Guardian printed a piece with a picture of Abdul Salik being with the caption as leading the campaign against the filming of Brick Lane. Now, the piece in The Guardian, as I've said, is by Paul Lewis and it's dated the 27th of July 2006. And the picture shows Abdul Salik as a thug. Look at the picture. That is what they discussed in another picture of him, another piece about him. And he says that we have the right to burn her book. Nobody said to him, and nobody has said anywhere else, that we have the freedom to burn her books. It's him. It's only Abdul Salik that actually said that. And he said that verbally to other people in the community. The other piece about a week or 10 days, probably it's 2017, so it's about 9 days before that. So the contents of the quote are from me, but they don't mention me because Abdul Salih claimed he had written it. The piece dated the 17th of July 2006 quotes Abdul Salih as saying that young people are not as peaceful as him. What a stupid, absolute lie. Absolute, utter lie. Most of the people that were concerned about the Monikali book, most of the people, absolutely, if not everyone, are not young. And I saw no evidence of any young person being aware of even Monikali. That is a complete lie, pack of lies by Abdul Salih. Where did he get that idea from? Abdul Salih, in his whole entire corrupt career, never organized an original event in defense of the community. This was all written by me. The main structure was written by me, the analysis, and he stole it. I would rather that he stole it and got himself in the news than I being anywhere near him. The book that Monica Ali has written is not a book. It's an attack that is part of the agenda that formed the center of the decision by the Sunday Times 30 years previously to attack the Silotis in Brick Lane. Where was Abdul Salik? Where was Abdul Salik when the Sunday Times attacked the Silotis? Of course, he was in the UK. There is no mention in the entirety of Abdul Salik's life of the campaign against the Sunday Times article. So, where did he suddenly realize that he was anything to do with defending the community? He is a liar. He was a liar and he lied. And as I said before, anyone who has got footage taken by Abdul Salik surreptitiously featuring me anywhere in his restaurant event, so called, must make all the footage available to me without any need for me to take any legal action against them. And his second son videoed the meeting that I chaired in January 2011, I think. I'll check that date. And his elder son promised to me several times that he would make the video available to me. He never did. That video belongs to me because I chaired the meeting and I allowed that filming to be done on condition that the film would be made available to me. That is a legal statement, one of the many legal statements that I am having to make. Anyone who has got images of me in possession of the Salik's relations must make those images available to me. Any video, audio records of me must be made available to me as well. This is a legal statement again. Abdul Salik would not have brought his wife to the UK if he were actually deported. He could not have brought his wife or his children to the UK if he were deported, as he was most certainly going to be deported. I prevented the deportation. I prevented the deportation. So Abdul Salik's family, who came to the UK as a result of Abdul Salik being allowed to stay in the UK, must acknowledge my role. If they don't acknowledge my role, then they must have evidence that somebody else did that, what I am saying I did. If they are saying that, then they must produce the evidence and publish it. Because it was my decision to declare a campaign against the decision by Peter Shore and others supporting Abdul Salik's deportation that triggered Peter Shore, Dan Jones, Paul Beasley to make immediate arrangements with the Home Office and to get Abdul Salik's deportation dropped. It was me. Remember what I'm saying. So this edition ends here, and all the items will be continued, updated. This is ending at 23:17 hours GMT on Saturday, the 31st of August, sorry, December 2022.